Okay, Jai Guruji, uh, day 4 of our satsang continues, and today we will start as promised uh, with one of my most important experience with Maharaj. It was around 2003 and that I was told that there's a job getting created because the current chief executive of this American company was retiring. And there was this interview planned for the people who could fill that gap. And when the offer came to me, I was more than happy. There were 10, 12 eh, candidates, and I was one of them. And I was shortlisted to be the chief executive of this huge uh, American defense company in India. But before I could get the offer, someone else stepped in, stopped my joining them, and put his own candidature. And for 9 months, nothing happened because he couldn't join and I couldn't join. And we were in 2004. Then, towards end 2004, they came back to me again and said, Commander, apologies for delay, but are you still ready to join? Because the other person could not join. So I was a little embarrassed and upset that this happened, but I still said, yes, okay, I'll join. And then I shared this information with a very close friend of mine that such a such offer has been made to me and I'll be joining on Monday. The friend himself was looking for a job and he quietly bypassed me and applied pressure to get that job for himself. And we were in 2005 and this gentleman left. And these people were left without a chief executive once again. And now they come back to me again. And we are in 2005. I wasn't sure what to do. But when the offer came, I finally decided that the package was too lucrative to give up and said yes. But the offer wasn't coming to me. I waited and waited. And then I realized it was time for me to put this across to Guruji Maharaj and seek his blessings for this job. It was almost 2 years and we were getting nowhere. It was a job which was not coming to me and it was not going anywhere. And we were in 2005, October. So you can realize the time that had gone in between. I could just walk up to Guruji and say, "This is my problem." I couldn't talk. I could not open my mouth in front of him. I could not look into his eyes. There was just no way. Standing next to him was was itself an extremely difficult task. So what I did, I requested Singla uncle, the senior Sevadar there, who could speak to Maharaj without a problem. And I told him the whole thing and I said, Uncle, can you please help me? And he said, sure. So we choreographed the entire thing as to who will stand where and who will say what. And we rehearsed it a few times to make sure we don't go wrong there. And he also told me that it will all be done only if Guruji is in good mood. If he is not in good mood, then we don't bring this subject and we'll keep it for some other time. Terrific. It was also decided that I have to come very early so that Maharaj is not on his asan but on the cabinet next to the kitchen, and that will be that. So I stood there, and Singhal uncle slowly speaks to Maharaj and says, Guruji, this is Commander uncle, and he wants to talk to you about his job. And Guruji looked at me, paused for a while, thought about it, and said, no, you don't need this job. You need to come to me. I did not realize the value of that statement. What more could I have asked? When Guruji wants me to be in his seva, then the job would have taken care of itself. But I stood there quietly, not saying no, not saying yes, not saying anything at all. But then Singhal uncle himself said something which essentially meant that I'm not going away without this job from here. Then Maharaj, because Singhal uncle said, Guruji, Command uncle needs money. And then Guruji paused. I think he closed his eyes for a few seconds and then looked at me and said, okay, go make some money. Now, I was happy that he agreed, he blessed, but make money is not the blessing. I was expecting more like Kalyan or blessings or Ashkar, which meant have fun. But go ahead, make money is not the blessing I was looking forward to. But never mind, you don't say anything in front of Maharaj. I bowed my head, touched his feet, stepped back, and left. Monday morning, I get a call from the company's office and said, Commander Sharma, when can you join? And then I realized Guruji was the one holding back this job from me. And since I insisted, I have it. But within few days, he mentioned to a Sangat in Mandir that he has given this job to Commander, and then he mentioned the amount of money that I'm going to receive, my salary, and everything else related to the job, whereas I never even mentioned it to him. He also said, I have given Commander Uncle 4 years. Now, he didn't say he's given this job to me for 4 years. He said, I've given him 4 years. So, me and my wife looked at each other and we never said anything, but we both understood the same thing. Is it the job which is 4 years, or it is the 4 years that Guruji has given me before it is the end? But we were with Guruji. If there is anyone who controls this thing, it is him, not me. So there was this thing in the back of the mind, and I kind of counted the years, but this thought never crossed my mind that there are only 4 years to go. But there was always this, something in the back of your mind that stays there without troubling you beyond a point. Around, and then this was 2005 when Guruji took Mahasamadhi in 2007. So now everything changed. Now we don't get to talk to him, we don't get to see him, we don't get to cry in front of him. And now I have got these 2 years and I don't know what is happening. So around October 2009, the 4 years were completed, and in the job, everything went wrong. So much so that they appointed somebody who wasn't very pleasantly disposed towards me and clearly wanted me to go, and started doing everything to push me out. That's not bad. I could have walked away. But at the same time, my mental health deteriorated considerably. I became less confident. I became absent minded, and I became a nervous wreck. I lost my sleep and I was not at peace. I lost my peace of mind also. Is this what was happening? Is this what Maharaj said? 4 years? Because 4 years were now complete. So, fearing the worst, my auntie quietly prayed to Guruji. Guruji, our youngest daughter is completing her engineering in 2010 May. So please, can you make sure that nothing happens till then? Let her complete her engineering. And this continued. I know somebody who looked at me one day, a colleague of mine and a close friend, who told me, sometimes I look at you and you look like you're not even here. I have been driving car for many, many years, since 1986. But my car had dent every possible way during those 4 months. The front was broken, the rear was broken, the windows and everything. This beautiful Toyota Corolla had more scratches than the paint. It was because even in parking, I would rub it against a pillar. I would be, I'd be less on control on the brakes. So it's going to be here, there, everywhere. And I did not know this was happening, but my wife was worried for me. On 10th of May, youngest one completed her engineering, gave her final exam, and on 14th of May, I was out of this company. 4 years plus the extension. And now I had to know between this 14th of May to whatever time it was, what plan Guruji has for me. I did not know when he said, you come to me, meant was really come to him or come to him as a sevadar at his in Mandir. So Nobody spoke about it. But within 15 days, I got a brilliant offer from another company, American company, as a country head, and the good times started. But in between this move, I remember in tears driving my car and telling Guruji, I cannot take it anymore. You got to fix it. And I don't know how you do it, but if you're really listening to me, I would like to have a car with Guruji written on the back now in front of me. And I said, I do not know how do you do it, nor do I care. But Maharaj, I need that car. I need to see it. I need to know you listen to me and you care because my world is falling apart. And I turned under the bridge at Ashram Chowk coming from Noida. And as soon as I turned and straightened, I had this car in front of me. He waited for the turn because to produce that car. I looked at it and to say that I was in tears would be an understatement. I was howling and crying because my father, my mother, my guru, my everything listens, and he listens even today because the gap between his Mahasamadhi and this moment was too less for us to comprehend and come to terms with the loss of his presence or of his physical presence in our life. And then the sense of relief, the sense of happiness. Now, let whatever has to happen may happen. I don't care. My life was in Guru's hands, and I got this job that day. Phenomenal job with lots of money. And I was rid of this 4 years that I insisted that I take from Guruji. And now I wonder if I had not asked, don't you think Guruji had a better plan for me? There was only one person who did not know that, and that was me. Should I not have left it to him? Because what happened to me was I had to go through this miserable existence. My life almost fell apart and I became a wreck. But when Guru is on your side, it doesn't take any time to be back on your feet. And we all forgot. On a lighter note, when I came to Guruji after he gave me that job and bowed to in front of him, as I said, I take a matha there and put my head on his lotus feet and folded hands. And Guruji tells me, Commander, even the wife of a retired military man ignores him. But I gave you this job, which basically meant that even your wife doesn't listen to you. But Guru listens. And everybody around seated next to him laughed. I was embarrassed, but I was happy. My Guru is Even if he is making fun of me, for me it's a blessing. What better way to 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 have that interaction than Guru taking notice of your presence and smiles and makes fun of you. By the way, this was not the only time. There were a few other occasions, and at some time I will share them as we go along. But what was the lesson learned here? Never tell Guru what you want. Never ever. You do what you want to do, but leave it to him. That was my last time when I ever asked him for anything. After that, there was never a need. Because if I need something, even before I know that I need something, the Guru is at work to make sure that requirement is met. And how he does it is his problem. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. But this happens, and this happens only under certain conditions. And the condition is that you should leave everything to him. How you leave is your problem. Guru should know. There is a Shabad that gets played, and I'm going to share this Shabad also as the Shabads keep on coming up. Let me first recite how it is. The Shabad is Ek takya bharosa tere charna ka, baki sabbe dhaya dheriya. Translated to English, it roughly means that Guruji, all I now have is you as my only support because I have broken all my relationships from everyone else, everywhere else. Essentially meaning, Lord, I have come to you by breaking every other relationship. Other than you, I have no connect. Neither I want to have, and if you don't do anything for me or whatever is to be done, then be rest assured it won't be done because you won't do it and I will not go elsewhere to get it done. So it's like when a girl gets married and moves to her in-laws place, she breaks all her relationships in the back end and then steps in. This is what you do when you value a relationship that other than you now I have no one. And till the time you only pay lip service to Guruji and say, oh Guruji, you are the only one. But you know heart of heart that you have plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, just in case Guruji decided not to take care, then be rest assured Guruji isn't taking care of you. He would, because he not only knows what you're saying, but he knows what is going on in your mind. And therefore, this effort will become futile. And that is the difference which you and I do not know when we look at Sangat. There are Sangat and there are Sangat. There are Sangat who look more like devotees, completely surrendered souls, and there are Sangat who look around, who are more worried about what is happening here, what they can get from Guru, and they have a laundry list of things. And every time they receive something, they check a box and then say, so much more to get. It's a trade. They are the ones who who are even telling others, oh, I have been coming for so many months. I have attended so many satsangs. I even have done this and have done that, and still my work is not being done. It is stuck. That is also Sangat. And there is a Sangat which says, I don't even know what to be asked for. I don't care. For me, I got my Guru, and that's all that matters. He can do whatever he wants to do with me. My status is not changing. So, between this extreme and that extreme, there are different grades and classifications of connect. So, everybody is not on the same page, and therefore, everybody doesn't seem to be getting what they want, and their level of suffering or not suffering is also different. The most important thing is that from the person who demands things and asks for them to a person who only accepts Guru as his everything and says nothing, wants nothing, asks for nothing. There was one uncle who came to Guruji when he was really sick, sick with jaundice, hepatitis B, in the final stages of his illness, with nothing else left to be done. And since he was a serving military officer, an Air Force pilot, they have even prepared his documents which are required after the person leaves the world, because there's nothing left to be done. And the doctor himself or herself brought him to Guruji. And Guruji looked at him and made him eat langar. Now, with a person with that level of hepatitis condition, you can hardly retain anything. And eating langar with ghee and chapati was, from a medical point of view, a disaster waiting to happen. But the doctor told this military officer, I, as a doctor, cannot advise you to eat this, but if you have faith, it's your choice. And he said, I have faith and I will eat. Without questioning this, remotely thinking about the fact that what risk he is undertaking, he ate the langar. No ifs and buts, no use of brain. His heart said, I must eat, and he had. And Guruji asked him to go, and he came back again and had langar again. And after a few times, Guruji simply tells him, Uncle, I have made your count 3. Now the count is a state of liver, and he had a count which was 20 something, which, and 12 and above is dangerous already, and he was at 20 plus. And Guruji in 3-4 langars brought him to 3, which is as healthy as everybody else. And he said, you can go and get yourself checked. This Sangat got cured, went back to his usual business of serving the nation in the military. And one day when he came back to Guruji and he asked him, Guruji, I want to know, you blessed me and cured me the instant I appeared in front of you. There are people who take longer, and some take even longer. So what was it? And Guruji said, when I looked at you, I knew you are blessing ready. You were open, ready to receive blessing. He just opened his heart. He did not come there to check out Guru. He did not come there to test Guru to see if anything is possible. I mean, the instant he appeared in front of him, he had essentially surrendered. Anyone who is in the last stage of his hepatitis and without questioning is ready to eat langar, which can potentially end his life from a medical point of view, had to have that level of surrender, which is not easy to find. So somehow find a way to get blessings ready. And it is not something which you can maneuver into. It's not something, it's not a process through which you become blessing ready. There is no process for surrender to Guru. It happens. And it also happens because Guru wants it to happen. And even though he said he was blessing ready, I have a feeling Guru made him blessing ready because he just wanted to heal him at that moment. Without his will, without his wish, without his approval, we can't even be there, let alone being blessing ready. And that is what it is. Now the question is, what is the starting process of being blessing ready? I have my own thoughts on this, and you will have your own. But let me share what I think. Someday we are going to sit down and you can remind me to talk more about the word duality. And how it works in our lives. You know, this whole world, this universe is built around something called balance. I'm not going to dwell deep into it today, but it is sufficient to understand that Earth just rotates at a speed which creates a force which pulls itself away from Sun, equal and opposite to the force which is pulling it towards the Sun. So we stay in the same uh, uh, slot, and that is called balance. There is balance in electricity. You have the positive terminal and the negative terminal. However, you may dislike the negative, but the electricity does not flow till both the terminals are connected. So you need positive and negative, and the positive terminals voltage is equal and opposite to the voltage of the negative terminal. If you increase the positive, the negative will increase and they will remain in balance. Similarly, there is love and hate in balance. There is good and bad in balance. And if you like to say it in another way, the there are like demons and the nobles in kind of balance. So there are, you know what I believe? If you see too many wrong things happening around, just be rest assured that somewhere unknown to you, there's so much positivity is being built because they must be equal and opposite. There has to be. And if the balance gets disturbed, Guruji intervenes to restore it back again. That's the law. Similarly, in Sangat, there is balance. So there is as much Sangat who is the surrender type as there is the one who are there to seek blessings, and they both are at the other end. And I differentiate between the two, like those who believe in Guruji or those who are there because they think Guru can deliver them something that they need. So there are needy and they are the trusty types. Name them the way you want. And they are the extreme end. So if you want to move from the left hand side, who are there because they think they can get something from Guru and they have this list of items that they need, and they will do everything so that they can meet their requirement. They won't talk about Guru, but if there was somebody, if my apologies, I hope everybody is still here. Okay, this is what happens when there is an incoming call and the connection gets disturbed. So you do not know how to reach the surrender end, but least you know you can do is not stick to the demanding end. Means from in Hindi, from if there is a there are manne wale and there are mangne wale. So whereas you do not know how to become manne wala, you start with stopping to ask Guruji for anything. You know, I still don't believe, but I will not ask. Deny yourself the liberty to ask him for anything. Stop asking. And she say, I will not ask. It is like this. If there is a train in Delhi and it must reach Bombay, you may not know how to reach Bombay, but you know that you will have to leave Delhi before you can reach Bombay. So just give up for asking, and slowly, 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 you will stop asking, and then there will be no need to ask, and you will automatically reach the other end. However tempting it may be to tell Guruji that I need this and I need that. What about this, Guruji? What about that? I have been asking you, this has happened. And then you gave it to A, you gave it to B, you gave it to C, and you gave it to D. In 2 days' time, I am here for 2 years, sir. What about me? Just don't bother. Because Guruji may give you whatever you want, or may not even allow you to become his Sangat. If you had a choice, you would rather be his Sangat without getting your things done, then get your things done and not be as part of his Sangat. Those who love him would love him regardless. And that is what is called unconditional love. You don't love him because he can do things for you. You love him because you love him. And that essentially is the difference. Now, I will now share with you one little satsang of a close friend of mine who came to me and said, Raj, I have a problem. And I have this problem that I'm due for my promotion in the government of India, and there is this minister who is sitting on my file and case and not clearing, and I don't know what to do about it. So, do you know anyone? And I said, yes, of course I know. You have to just come to me, come with me, and I will take you to my Guruji, and he will bless you, and it will be done. He gave me that look, which essentially means, oh yeah, I know. But I said, trust me, come with me. And he came. Guruji, I introduced him to Guruji, and then I tried to explain about him. And Guruji looked at me and said, are you his lawyer? I said, no, Guruji. Then go back and sit behind. I will talk to him myself. I should have known that. Guruji doesn't like middlemen. He doesn't like anybody in between him and his Sangat. And he would not accept me either. So he spoke to him. There was no need to explain what was he for. And then Guruji said, come to Bade Mandir on 31st of December. And this was first week of December. Within next 15 days, somehow miraculously, the file got cleared, the minister removed the objections, and he was promoted and he took over as a senior, very senior official in the government of India. But having been truly blessed like this, he found every reason not to come to Guruji and not to like the ambience, environment, and the whole setup. You think he didn't like it? Guruji did not let him like it. Without his approval, he wasn't coming there. So, whereas he got his job done, and then that's it. So, you have to ask yourself, would you rather be there, still having your list unattended to, or get a job done and be removed from his presence? That's a question. And the answer will decide which side you belong to, left or right. My take is this: people who get their job done quickly and and then do not show up, and I know many of them. Obviously, Guruji doesn't want them to be anywhere near him. People like us whose jobs don't get done, or or if they get done the way he wants it to be done. He wants these people to come to him, be with him, if for nothing else, at least waiting for the things to happen. It's like this: if you like somebody, if you like to see someone, and he has something that you can do for him, you will call him at least 10-15 times before you do whatever you have to do, because at least that way you get to meet and see. If Guru loves us, then he wants us to be connected to him. And that is how it is. Here is a question I put to you. If you had a choice that there is Guru in your life and you have all these problems also in your life, and then you had life where there were no problems but there was no Guru, Which one will you choose? And that choice of yours will determine which end of the relationship and the connect with Guru you are. If answer is this, I need my Guru, irrespective of whatever else happens in my life. I'm ready to put up with everything, every suffering, every pain, and will endure everything as long as I have Guru in my life. Then you have arrived. Then there is nothing between you and Guru. You know what? There is this external world, this physical world where we exist with this body, and there is this internal world where our soul resides. You cannot control who comes in your life in this external world and who goes out, and how they treat you and how you interact with them. But the internal space is entirely yours. No one can enter unless you want them to enter. This is how you allow people to get access to your heart and soul. Sometimes you allow wrong people to step in and they wreak havoc in your life and walk away, leaving you mental wreck. That's the inner space. And the best thing to do is reserve that space for Guruji. Let that space be just for you and your Guru. No one else. No one is in no one at all. And then once you are there and he is there, there's total peace, the complete lack of chatter, no questions, no answer. Like I was talking other day, uh, when I said to be happy is very different to possess stuff that you think makes you happy. It's a state of mind, and that comes, pure happiness come only with Guruji in your heart and soul. Keep it that way, and then you won't need anything else. He'll take care in any case. So, with that, I conclude today's session. I hope it was something that made sense to you and you loved listening to it as much as I love sharing it with you. Jai Guruji.